You're sitting on your sofa, it's Tuesday, you're in your pajamas, you haven't spoken to a single salesperson, walked into a single shop, or told anyone what you're thinking about. And yet, somehow your phone knows you want new trainers. Your Instagram is full of sofa deals, and YouTube is suggesting a documentary about coffee, even though you only Googled best espresso machines once at 2 a.m. last night, let's say for 40 seconds before going to bed. This is not a coincidence and this is not magic. It's actually much more boring than that. It's actually data. And welcome to the world of digital footprints, where marketers use your online trails to show you the exact ads that make you say, oh wow, I was literally thinking about that. Not because they're psychic or they have, some kind of superpowers, but because they're paying attention. Every single thing you do online leaves a trace. Every search you type, every website you visit, every link you click, every video you watch, and every video you watch even halfway before getting distracted. This is what we call as a digital footprint. It includes not just getting the things you buy online, but also the things that you put in your cart and don't end up buying, what retailers call as cart abandonment, and what I like to call as browsing therapy, as well as where you are in the world, what device you're using, what time of the day you browse, how much time you spend on each page, what you share, what you like, who you follow, and even what you type into the search box before deleting it. Yes, because even the deleted searches are recorded as digital footprints since the internet has a memory of an elephant, right? Now, there are two types of digital footprints: the active ones, like deliberately posting a photo or filling a form, and the passive ones, the invisible trail you leave just by existing online. Moving your mouse, for example, loading a page, your IP address getting logged onto a particular server, right? While marketers care about both the active and the passive ones, they specifically care about the passive ones. Why? Because the passive ones are the honest ones. As for who collects all this data, the answer basically is everyone with a website. But the big collectors are Google, Meta, the cookies that are collecting the data, and the data brokers. Google knows what you search, what you watch on YouTube, where you go through their Google Maps, what's in your Gmail, and how you behave on almost every website, right? Through let's say something called Google Analytics, right? Now, Meta knows who your friends are, what makes you stop scrolling, what you like and comment on, and even what you stare at without interacting. Because stopping on a post for 2 seconds without liking it is itself a signal, a whisper to the algorithm that says, "I find this interesting, but I'm not ready to admit it publicly." Now, cookies are these tiny text files that websites drop onto your browser to remember who you are. If you visited them earlier, right? They keep you, for example, they keep you logged in and follow you across the internet, which is why sometimes you see that a pair of shoes that you looked at on one site mysteriously now appears on a news website, a recipe website, a gardening website, and a host of other websites that you're following, that you're visiting across the internet, right? The data brokers, meanwhile, are entire companies that collect, organize, and sell personal data sourced from, for example, loyalty programs, from public records, from app permissions, and from online surveys. These are all packaged into detailed profiles that include your income bracket, your maybe your life stage, your interests, your purchasing history, whether you respond better to a discount or to a premium pitch. Uh, Basically, it's creating a profile that you never asked to exist, but which it anyway does, built entirely from your digital footprints. For most of advertising history, marketing was about shouting into the crowd and hoping the right person heard you. You'd buy a TV ad slot. Let's say, 5 million people would get to see your ad. Maybe about 200,000 actually were in the market for what you were selling. The rest, 4.8 million, were basically, maybe just eating chips and thinking about something else while watching your ad. right? So, and you actually ended up paying to reach about 5 million people. So that's like very broad level targeting. Now, welcome to the world of precision targeting, where instead of shouting at everyone, you whisper the exact right thing to the exact right person at the exact right moment, using all the digital footprint data that your identity your you identify your customer, your ideal customer, and you show them the ads that only they want to probably see, not their neighbor, not their colleague, not their spouse, but the ads meant for them, resulting in an ad budget that can go further with better click-through rates, with better conversions, with better results, with better ROI. And somewhere, a very specific human being is actually now seeing the ad and thinking, how did they know that I needed something like this? And the answer is simple. They knew because you Googled it probably 7 times in the last 2 weeks. Okay, so let's now talk about how do marketers actually use this digital footprint data to target you? What levers they have to precision target? Lever number one is demographics. The basics of who you are, your age, your gender, location, job, title, education, whether you own or rent a house, whether you have kids. For example, a baby food brand, for instance, can target parents in the age group of 25 to 40 in the suburban area who have recently searched for anything baby related, right? So that's your lever number one. Then is your lever number two, which is interests and behavior. This is about what you do, not who you are, but what you do on platforms like Meta, Google, and their associated platforms. Like uh, based on your behavior, these platforms infer your interests directly from your digital footprint. That means what you're doing online, right? So if you watch, for example, enough cooking videos, right, you are a food enthusiast. If you follow various cycling accounts on YouTube or Insta or Facebook, you are probably into sports and fitness, have an interest in cycling. If you spend 45 minutes reading about sourdough at midnight, congratulations, you probably are a home baker, right? And the relevant ad for each of these different categories will be shown to the different profiles, right? Then you have the lever number three. Now, this is where things get interesting. Lever number three is your intent signals. It's what you are about to do, not only what you do anytime, but what you're about to do maybe shortly in some time. So, for example, if you Googled best running shoes for flat feet in the last 30 days, you are in the market for running shoes. Essentially, you have raised your hand saying that you're looking for running shoes, and the algorithm noticed it, right? And the running shoe brands can now target you specifically, not people who vaguely like fitness or like running, but you, the person who searched that exact phrase, what Google calls in market audiences. Precisely what it sounds like, you're in the market for something, right? Then there is your lever number four, what we call as custom audiences, right? Now, these are audiences where businesses upload their own customer data, their own customer lists, and let the social media match the profiles, let's say the email IDs that you've uploaded, to the profiles of people on social media. So there is a match. So, for example, if you have a list of email IDs from your previous customers, you can upload them and tell Facebook or Meta to match these to the actual accounts they have, and wherever there is a match of the email ID, that audience becomes part of your targetable audience, right? Another thing that you can tell the platform to do is to create lookalike audiences, right? I mean, because you may have a limited number of customers, right? But let's say other people who have similar traits as your customers could also be your potential customers. They're likely, if they're likely to buy because they have similar characteristics, maybe demographics, interests, etc., right? So if you want to scale up more, you can actually ask the platform to find people who look like those customers, and Facebook calls these as lookalike audiences. It's like cloning your best customers and advertising to those clones. Sounds slightly dystopian, but it's totally legal and it's quite effective. Much like when a bank probably cannot sell you a loan, it's asking you to take a loan, but you don't need it, and it's asking you for referrals. let's say in your friend circle or in your network, people with similar profiles, similar income brackets, etc., who may be interested in that loan. So that's another way of lookalike audience in the offline world, right? And now the last lever, which is retargeting. Retargeting is basically how that pair of shoes that you looked at one site but didn't end up buying ends up following you across the internet on different websites that you visit, maybe for the next 3 weeks. When you visit a website, it places a cookie on your browser, and every ad network connected to that site can now track your visit and keep showing you that product. So retailers basically love retargeting because statistically it's been seen that people who leave without buying are far more likely to purchase later. They probably just need a reminder or maybe 12 reminders or in some cases a small discount.